Generation Dan. Mr. Rogers once said, "Who are the people in your neighborhood?" And it's us, and that's really bad for you. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. And who else is here with me?
I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel, and yeah, listen, I feel like I've become the old person that's watching it. Just I watch the street.
Yeah,
I'm old version of Batman.
That's yeah. You're either that or like the guy from Rear Window when he's in his 40s. Just like
yeah. Well, like I'll just stand in the driveway under the carport and just smoke a joint and just looking at the street.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the communities that we live in and the weird shit that happens like this. Play the video. Okay. So outside my apartment, there's a Bath and Body Works bag, and it's got 2 books about Ronald Reagan. Like just pro Ronald Reagan books. It's been 4 days. I don't know who it belongs to. I don't know what it's for. Is it a message? Am I about to get like clonked over the head by a MAGA guy, or what's the deal? Yeah, so go ahead.
Listen, let's be honest. For all intents and purposes, I feel like that was some sort of fey trap, but like new. I don't know. It was very peculiar. Like there was a very distinct person that they were looking to entice with that bag of information.
Yeah. And for people listening to this on audio, it was just a little Bath and Body Works bag. So like, it looked like something you would carry like soaps in, right? Like, oh, I got some soaps.
The size bag when you restock your hand sanitizer every 6 months. That bag that you buy them in is that size bag.
Yeah. Perfect. So it's one of those.
2
books about Ronald Reagan.
Not one. Not books about presidents, but 2 books about Ronald Reagan, which is a distinct, like you were definitely doing a book report and or Reagan was your president and you had to do a social sciences project.
Oh yeah, I got Grover Cleveland when I had to do that project.
Yeah, you guys do that kind of shit, right? Like we don't. Yeah. We're like we don't give a shit who served. Like this doesn't.
They give you like you have to do like a state. Like they give you a state and you got to do stuff about that state. So I got Florida.
Like, presidents who came from that state and so on and so forth, I'm assuming.
Yeah, presidents who came from that state, famous people. Inventions. What's the major like crop, state flag, shit like that.
GDP. I mean, I feel like you should know most of that stuff in grade school, no?
And you do that in grade school. This is like
okay. That I did. Yeah, okay. Because fourth and fifth grade, you start to learn that, hey, so you live in a neighborhood, and that neighborhood is in a town, and that town is in a city, and the city, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. All on planet Earth, in the universe, all in the Milky Way, and trust me, stop there. You don't want to go any further, kids.
If I had known what Florida was going to be in 2002 when I was doing that, I probably wouldn't have picked Florida.
So, okay, I have a question for you because Atlas, so you're a comedian, I'm a comedian, we both do comedy, which I've started to ramp up, and I'm doing videos, and we're starting to. I have a friend who's like, "Yo, I want to see your stuff," so I've been sending it to them, and they are actively trying to do clips for me, and I'm like, "That's sweet!" Like, I really, really thoughtful, nice of them. And mostly because I need a third party to see, because if Victoria doesn't think I'm funny, right?
Yeah, same. Katie thinks I'm the most unfunny person.
Weird, no. Silent, yes. Still don't know the names of my neighbors. So,
yeah.
Hey, I moved in here after we got married. Okay.
When did you guys get married?
2015.
Okay, so about a decade ago, you moved into this apartment. House. Okay.
Right. But so Victoria and her parents already lived here, and I moved in. So I had my own condo, and I said, "Hey, so do you want to live with me, or do you want me to come live with you?" Because her parents are older, so we got to do, They had already lived here for like 7 or 8 years at that point. Okay. I moved in within 2 days. Because we're in a semi-detached, so the other half of the house. I made friends with everyone in that house within 3 days. Within 3 days, and I said, "Hey, do you guys do anything with your neighbors or anything?" And they're like, What neighbors? I'm like, these neighbors. They're like, didn't know that was their name. I'm like, really? So, and then across the street, I've introduced myself once or twice. And once they got stuck in there, like there was snow and they got stuck in their driveway. And I told Victoria, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go help them out. And as I get out of the car, the lady's like, hey, can you help us? I'm like, you ruined my good deed, you son of a bitch. And she's like, what? I'm like, I was getting out of the car to help you of my own accord. And now you
it's like going to take out the trash and they're like, hey, can you take out the trash now? I don't want to.
You're like, no, I don't want to fucking do it. Yeah. Now you've ruined my good deed as you asked for a favor and I obliged. Like, I'm not a good neighbor. I'm a great neighbor. I just voluntarily do nice things because I'm a hero. I don't need to be asked, right? Like I'm Batman of the street because
wouldn't that just be Batman?
I mean, like
Batman does his things on the streets of Gotham. Okay.
Yes, but I'm like your friendly. I'm your friendly neighborhood Batman.
I see. Okay.
I'm your unfriendly neighborhood Batman. That's what I am.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes
sense. Still Batman. Never mind. Yeah. So like the current apartment complex we live in, Katie and we're trying to make an effort to like get to know our neighbors more because we lived in, the only really people we talked to was our immediate neighbor Gary, who is the best ever. Gary, if you're watching, miss you.
Is Gary the best ever? Why was Gary the best? Okay, why was Gary the best neighbor? That's a good question.
Okay, so Gary was he worked on like film productions and stuff, so he'd be there for like a couple months and then be gone for a couple months. But when he was there, he was like a good chat, right? He knew exactly when to shut up and keep walking.
Ooh, that's a small talk expert. Yeah. Very top tier neighbor. Has qualities like that where they're like, hey, chit chat, crack a couple jokes, on with your day.
Yeah, so
that's it. It's always leave them wanting more. That is the key to being a neighbor.
Yeah. So there was that, and then also he was just like a handy person. So like he helped jump Katie's car one time. We both had helped each other move stuff. Like, hey, can you help me move this couch? And then I helped him put I forgot what it was. It was like finagle his kitchen table through the door or something.
Yeah.
He got. But yeah, we were just like good neighbors with each other. Yeah. And then the only other person I really talked to was the landlady and the super, who were a married couple, and like they were fine. And the rest of the complex we didn't really talk to. There was one guy with a cat named Charles who kept escaping, but I just know the cat's name and not the guy. So for all intents and purposes, Charles the cat, that was the neighbor.
I feel like Charles the cat was the neighbor, and he had a human that cared for him, but was like a buffoon, and would constantly lose him. It was the whole thing. Yeah.
So meanwhile, in our new place, how
many units in this new place?
It's I think 10.
Okay.
Technically it's two separate addresses, but the two complexes face each other and share a courtyard.
Oh, so you guys can look at each other and touch each other. Yeah,
the problem is like when you order shit for delivery and the guy doesn't read the address on the sign out front and just kind of picks a direction. Or it's like, oh, I'm looking for apartment C, and they're like, you want apartment C on the other side, baby. That's them. Go over there. But like we know our neighbors across the hall. Punch and Anita, who are cool.
I'm sorry. Did you say his name was Punch?
Punch.
Like the Punch? Like that kind of?
No, not the Punch. Punch, like a belly. He's got like a tum.
I believe they're spelled the same, but yeah, okay. Cool.
Okay, so they're really cool. They didn't move in until about a month after us, which also included a time where my dad teased the idea of moving across the hall from us, and I was like, shut the fuck up right now. No.
Yo, you would. I feel like though that would be like you kind of have a good time. Like,
no, you're thinking King of Queens, but like, no.
No. I think your dad. I think you'd be uncomfortable with how many people your dad has over, because let's be honest, your dad would party harder than you do. Also, too, your dad's like running down the clock. Like he's just enjoying life now, right? He's
pretty much. Yeah.
Right. So
For
since you
more
like
information, check out the Aspen Chronicles trilogy of our episodes.
I'm still so glad that we got to get all 3 of them
Me too.
on one thing, because that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And
We have a playlist on YouTube if you want to just go check that out. Jim Eaton says, I'm living in an assisted living facility now. I'm the weird neighbor because I go out at night.
Hey, number one, Jim, congratulations to you for taking a proactive role as you progress in age, because you know what, a lot of people hold on for too long, and it eliminates their ability to enjoy those stages of their life. Like, this is the thing, is like Atlas is like dying to be a senior citizen. Like, he is literally banking time, like just like one more step closer to
I'm gonna be
the
the best old person.
I mean, no, you'll be the perfect old person, right? Like, that's because the best old person is going to be this guy who's like, who wants to try hard drugs? Woo woo! And that's, that's the old person. Like, I'm going to be the coolest. Like, you're going to be like, hey, if you guys want to party, go hit up Dino. It's going to be lit. And young people are going to be like, that's a senior citizen. I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. Okay,
and you're
I
like,
got this.
Come to Shady Acres and go around the back out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Like I honestly believe that, like, eventually, like, if anything were to happen in Victoria, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably just like become a traveling drug dealer or something. Like, that only makes sense that I would need to survive. But it's nice having your cleaning done and all this. Yeah. So look, Jim, realistically, as you get older, and this is not an attack or anything like that, but as you get older, it's harder to keep up with that kind of stuff. Now, is it good to still be physically active? Yes, it is very good. But also, too, you can invest what energy you have into other ways of being healthy and being active instead of using it for cleaning and stuff like that, which is nice, because that you can maximize your enjoyment of that time. Because as you get older, you have a much more limited usage of time, right? Like, you need to, like, and that's just life. It's not like, bro, I take naps in the afternoon whenever I can. It's great. Okay. Anyone who says naps suck is a liar or a child.
And good on Jim for going out at night. My dad, so like he had a surgery last year, and had to go to PT afterward because there was like some complications with it. But Halloween night, he goes missing from this PT facility where you're supposed to sign out if you want to go anywhere, and he's a guy with Parkinson's meds, meaning that he can only go without them for so long. So me, my sister, me, Katie, and I together, my sister, and then my dad's wife, all went looking for him in the 3 places he could have been. Either the CVS where he like gets his Parkinson's meds, his house, or at the time where his wife and kids were for Halloween. So he wasn't there, and my sister's like, he's not at the CVS, and I'm outside his house trying to get in. I don't have a key, and I'm like, what if he just went home and like collapsed because he's not answering his phone? Like I was like looking in windows and like, is that a slumped over body? What is that? It was the Halloween fucking decorations. And then, so like, we're panicking. All 3 of us were like, what happened to him? He's like poofed in the midair. And then the PT center calls and they're like, yeah, he went out to dinner and didn't tell anybody, like just with a friend. And I nearly like tore his heart out of his chest, Temple of Doom style.
So
I was livid with him.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, it's so I've been doing a bit where like I tell people where I'm like, listen, like I've kind of lost my balance, let's say, while I was getting into a car or whatever, and I go, oh, and I kind of go, oh, and I catch myself. And a younger person goes, oh, careful. And I go, I'll fucking stab you if you ever try and they go, oh, careful. I'm like, I'll fucking kill you. Just right now, just so you know, with one hand, I'll snap your entire neck. Just one. Okay. Don't careful me. Right. Like I was enraged, but that's the thing is like, people don't realize, like, so your dad didn't really connect the dots that, hey, I'm a vulnerable person right now, like, and he is a vulnerable person, like that's
like his friend came, picked him up, and he just went out to dinner and then came back, and the center calls Phoebe, who calls the rest of us, and we're like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, he interrupted Little Shop of Horrors. Katie and I were watching Little Shop of Horrors. We had to leave after Dadu, and like,
bro,
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing is like for
We
him,
didn't
he's
get
like,
to Mean Green Mother from Outer Space. Okay.
for him is he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, just oh yeah, I should have signed up. Yeah, okay, I just went for dinner. What's the
Whoops.
big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but for everyone else who's like that's the thing is, and that's something that I definitely have a bad thing of doing, where I'm like my immediate mind goes to the worst possible thing, and then I go, hold on, so like someone is late. I'm like, they have clearly died in a car accident. Uh, that's it, they're
Mhm.
gone, right? And I'm negotiating those emotions, and then I go, hey, maybe they're just in traffic. That's okay. Let's just, you know
Yeah.
what? Let's just breathe. We don't have to have we don't have to become anxious. We don't have to be worried. We could just be patient, you know? And that is the hardest fucking thing in the world. Because you go, yeah, I could breathe. There's nothing wrong. I'm sure everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, it started because the PT center called all like
Yeah.
first his wife, then Phoebe, and was like, "Hey, did he go with you guys somewhere?" And we're like,
No.
"No."
Yeah. And
Did
I think,
he go somewhere from you? They're like, "There's
yeah.
no record of sign out," and we're like, "Oh
So you see that's the one
shit."
thing is if they said is so okay, but that's the thing is too is if it's a facility where people are staying in and they're supposed to be checking out, there
Mhm.
should be a camera on the front entrance which would
Yeah.
show him getting picked up. Guys, so your dad got picked up. Do you know what's going on?
Well,
And we'd
it
be like,
just
oh,
shows him leaving through the front door. It doesn't like there's no
I'm
camera outside. Like,
I'm sure there's it would the guy pulled up and said, "Hey, get in,"
yeah,
right? Like there has to be a camera in the parking lot. Like that's them being well. He didn't sign out. Okay, was there someone at the door? No. Why not? If you need to sign out, shouldn't there have been someone at the door
I think it was
stopping
like
people from leaving?
after normal hours, so it was like the night guard or something. I don't know.
It's a very like the onus was put on. Did you guys? You're like, yeah, no. You're supposed to, that's like the government going, we've lost tax money. And you're like, no, your job is only tax money. Like that's, you have to keep track of only that. And they're like, yeah, we can't finagle to do that. And you're like, wait, no, that's your only job. Your only job. If you can't do it, you got to go. Right. It's same thing.
So anyway,
Anyway,
almost lived across the hall from us, and I put a stop to that real quick. Yeah, Punch and wife are there. Downstairs is a girl about our age who has a dog that barks like at anything walking by. So that's how the other person knows that someone's coming home is like you hear the dog barking downstairs, and you're like, oh, they're coming up the stairs. Like, stop masturbating, and and
hey, all that says is that's exactly what you use that for. That's fantastic.
yeah, and the rest of the people I've met, my stepson is a paramedic. He found me if he can find me if I have my phone or a
See,
watch.
that's genius. Why?
Yeah,
Man, find my phone. Just don't leave it in the hands of somebody. Like let's be honest. Your dad is like genius level type person where he doesn't realize like he's an important doctor or was an important doctor, right? So it's like he doesn't think like normal people like we do,
no.
right? So he's like, oh yeah, I'm in a facility, I should sign up, right? For him, he's like, no, I just go do things. Anyway, fine, yes. So you have a few people.
Yeah, a few people that I know, and the rest of the people that I met, like there's one woman who is a high school teacher like me, and her daughter is in high school. And then there's another who's like she works for HelloFresh, and her husband, I can't remember what her husband does, but like I don't know where in the complex these people live.
So they may live in the like around the corner. They may be
no, just like I don't know which particular apartment all these people are in. But they're nice people. Like the HelloFresh lady has 2 kids, and they're about like 2nd, 3rd grade, so like Katie and I's nephew's age.
Nice.
So like there's a lot of chalk drawing in the
nice.
So yeah, like it's nice to see that and like get to know my neighbors more than just Gary, Charles the cat, and my super.
I mean, let's be honest. Charles the cat is going to go down in history as one of the best neighbors ever.
Oh yeah, he was like, okay, so every morning without fail, the guy would like leave the door propped open just enough to where Charles could like bat it open and then tear through the screen door
Oh, that's
and like
nice.
jump into the yard. And like there was nowhere for him to go because it was a little like terrarium almost, like trees, plants in the center, and then like the exits on either side. And he wouldn't go for the exits. He would just like to be in the trees and like.
Oh yeah. As a cat.
Yeah, that's him going wild. But he was like, Charles, come back. I'm like, he'll come home. Just give him a few minutes.
I find it hilarious that you knew Charles the cat, but
not the guy who owned Charles the cat. Yeah,
Charles the cat's roommate. No idea who that was.
No, fuck, I can't remember his name. I think I met him twice. There was also a guy. He was like, again, I can't remember which. His name was Joe. He was a Vietnam vet because he had the hat, and he'd always be outside on the front sidewalk smoking a cigar every morning. So if I had to run out to like we had parking behind, so you'd either pass him on the way as you left, or he like there were a couple times where I carpooled, so I'd go out there and I'd be standing with him, and he's just like smoking a cigar, greeting the morning.
I mean, that's not a bad life.
Yeah. So
I feel like so now you're trying to meet all of your neighbors.
Yes. And just
to what end? To what? What's your? You just want to know everybody's.
You
just nosy that way there, Atlas. You like knowing people?
No, not just that. There's like my mom seeing her get older and become more agoraphobic as time has gone on.
Yes.
And I'm one half of that DNA tree, so I don't want to let that happen when I get to her age.
I mean, well, like it's also different because your mom is a single woman, right?
Yes.
Like, so it's like, and
even I didn't go with Katie every time when I introduced myself. It was like, I'm taking the laundry. Oh, nice to meet you.
Sure.
You know, blah, blah, blah.
Why don't you? Do you guys have a barbecue? Do you have a common barbecue area or your own barbecue area or anything like that? Can you have a barbecue?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I
get one and start making. You'll make friends real quick.
Okay.
Always bank for like an extra 1 or 2 hot dogs or something like that.
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, I got a couple extra. Do you want one? When someone's walking by, and they'll be like, oh, thanks, really appreciate that. Or if they're like, no, it's like you could. And if they're like, yeah, you could just pick whichever one you want. So, you know, so they don't feel weird. And then when they take a bite, you be like, the poison was in the bread, haha. You know, and then you're a funny guy. It's fine.
Yeah, the like getting to know my neighbors and like I really like to explore the neighborhood I'm in. So when I got back from Oregon, I learned that not only was I able to like take the train all the way back to the metro stop closest to us, but I thought I'd have to take Metro Micro, which is like their version of Uber. So it's $1 and it will take you within a particular radius of any metro station.
That's actually pretty cool.
The problem is that it stops operating after 10 p.m. And I got home and like it was like 10:02. I'm like, damn it. So I just got on the bus. I'm like, all right, let's see how bad this is. And the bus dropped me off like 3 blocks from home and then just walked the rest of the way. And I'm like, the fact that I can do that and like here in the valley, there's a lot more like protected bus lanes. So like they're separate from the actual road, which means that traffic tends to move faster up here.
Yeah.
And they're the buses are at like it's a grid system and the bus is doing this most of the time. I don't know. I also made the mistake of dropping my friend off at a bus stop and then going on the bus lane by mistake.
Oh, Atlas.
And I was like, this is too skinny and too empty to be, oh shit, I'm where the buses are supposed to be. So I like gunned it until I like found an off ramp.
Good. No, that's like that can happen to anyone, but also you do not want to be that person either. You just get the fuck out of the way, right?
Yeah. Luckily no bus saw me or anything like that.
Yeah. I think you get a ticket for that too.
I believe so. Yes.
I don't think it's too big of a deal, but like if you did it more than once, like if you were a repeat defender, I think you get a lot of stuff you get dinged. Like
but it wasn't on purpose. I was just like, oh, go over here. That's the exit to the thing. I'm like, oh shit. And like trying to like just kind of see who walks by. There's like there's some interesting character of the neighborhood, like some RVs. There's this
Mm.
controversy in LA recently about like we're trying to get all the RVs to go somewhere else. I'm like, what's the problem?
So there is no problem until they're outside of your house, right?
Okay.
Because I don't want somebody pissing in front of my house. That's basically it, right? And also too, like some of those people, what they'll do is they will drain their sewage into the sewer, and you're going, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's there. Like, look, there's a reason there's an RV park. It's because they have hookups for all that stuff.
Hmm.
But the fact is that some people, like, remember, these aren't people who are like, I'm a gajillionaire, but I just love living in a mobile home. Like, that's not right. These are people who are having a hard time. So
Yeah.
some people may just be shitting in a bucket, and then surprise, surprise, you put your garbage out, and there are suddenly 5 bags of shit on top of it, and you're like, ew, gross.
Yeah. Another weird thing about my neighborhood is that there's this one corner where there's a puddle that never evaporates or drains. It's always wet there. And it's not even like, oh, it's a little bit, it's huge. It's as you round the corner, it's just like here's the corner, the water is like this.
Do you own a rake?
I don't. Why?
Hmm.
You think? Well,
I
because
think
I walked around. I'm like looking. Is it like a clogged storm drain or something? What is it?
Must be. So the problem is that may be water draining from a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
And that's why it's constantly backed up.
Yeah.
So if you can break it up, that may like essentially it's like a clogged toilet, right? So like all the water's coming here, even though it's LA, it's not going anywhere, right?
Also, it's a hangout spot for the local crows because it's a water source. So I think they also eat the mosquitoes off of it and stuff, which is fine.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So good for them.
I mean, remember, crows remember, so don't go near that puddle because crows remember faces. That's a real
crows will fuck you up. My sister is like, you can train them to get shiny things for you if you give them food. I'm like, yeah, and if I forget, then they'll kill me.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's just one more thing you have to remember. Mind you, imagine having crows at your funeral because they remembered you. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
I'm imagining the crows from Dumbo just like with the
yeah, 100% leaking pipes. Yeah, it's definitely they're like I don't know, but
there's not really much of a gutter on that particular block. It's just there's not like a sidewalk. It's just the road kind of becomes whatever yard it is.
Oh yeah, so there's somewhere it's drained. It's blocks or something. You should call the city should come take that care.
I guess I don't. It doesn't matter enough for me to care, but it's just something interesting where I'm driving through. I'm like, does it ever evaporate?
So no, anyone who's listening to this, if you randomly are driving in the valley and you see a puddle that doesn't go away, you are close to Atlas somewhere.
It's messed up.
It's messed up. You're welcome.
I'm gonna dox him, but not really.
Yeah, not really. No.
What about your neighborhood? What quirks are?
Well, so okay, hilariously, when I first started losing weight, Kyle had messaged me and goes, "Hey, I think you can help with one of the exercises you're trying to do because I used to be a personal trainer and stuff." Sure, so come on over.
Of course he would.
And this was our first like interaction. He's like, "Hey, do you have a park around here?" I'm like, "I think there's one back there. Let's go there." And I walked back there and I found that they had like swings, a track. There's actually a pool back there, like an indoor pool, like it's a rec center. I think it's a school. But I never even knew that it was over there. And my wife was like, I'm like, yeah, there's actually a tennis club over there. And it's actually a really cool area. And my wife was like, I have no idea about any of that. So like, it's weird because I would see random people like for the month of July, I was trying to walk 20,000 steps a day, which works out to like 4,000, like 4 hours worth of walking, 3.5, 4 hours of walking every day. It was kind of rough, but you get to see some of the same people. Like some people always take their dogs to the track and they walk around because I would just walk around the track. Yeah. And then I started walking around the neighborhood a little bit. But there's a lot of really cool stuff in our neighborhood. Just in that, like you just got to walk around and find it. So even now, like we've been trying to instead of using Uber Eats and stuff, is to go places, pick it up, and bring it home, or to if we're gonna go out to eat, is to go somewhere. But like in doing that, we've tried to be mindful of like quirky little restaurants and different cuisine that is in our area because it's cool. But like also too, we're trying to not be fat people anymore, and it's hard. Like it's like this is the thing is like no one can make you not fat. Only you can want to be not fat because it's you who makes those decisions, right?
Yeah.
So like traditionally I stay away from pop in general. Like I try and not drink it. So like today I had a celebratory diet Coke because I had a very clean lunch, and I'm trying to reward myself in a weird way because I'm also trying to not smoke, and I'm failing constantly because
Smoke or smoke?
yes.
Ah, okay.
And the problem is I'm not really smoking, but I'm like I really want to buy cigarettes. It's not good. It's not healthy, but I don't care. And at the same time, I'm like I don't know what to do. It's a weird thing. And then I'm like, I feel like I'm unbalanced. So I'm like, I need to take mushrooms. And then like there are nice little coves in our area that you could like go and just hang out and sit.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of tempted to do that. The only problem is to get there, I have to cross a street. And I'm like, I don't think I should cross a street while on mushrooms. I don't think that's a good idea. You know?
Shit, dude.
Yeah. So like that being said, there are like a lot of neat little places and restaurants because we're on the border of Toronto. So like literally across the street from us is essentially like another suburb. So like you're in the valley. What would be next to that?
Okay, so if you go north of us, it's into just like this, like the northeast part of the valley. East of us is Burbank.
Okay.
South of us is Hollywood, like West Hollywood.
Okay. So think about it this way: is there a street that divides those two areas?
Ventura is
Okay. So
the dividing line between like the valley and the canyon or whatever pass you're going to.
is there a rich side and a poor side of Ventura?
Not really.
No. Well,
it's LA.
If there was, we would live on the rich side of Ventura, and then like not that the other side of Ventura is poor, but poorer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so where we are, we're like right on the edge of like, and the neighboring area, which is Scarborough, has tons of other different stuff too. But also like because it's Scarborough, its property taxes are less, but home values are also less. So like think about it this way: is where our house is. Would sell for quite a sum, but it would be like 65 to 70% of that value if you just cross the street.
Okay.
So it's a weird thing, but like because of that, like you have a lot of weird industrial areas too, because like the city has been gentrifying over time, right, and trying to eliminate industrial areas and put them outside of the city limits.
Right.
Whereas,
but like, never mind. Go ahead.
So there's businesses, but not like a carpet factory or something like there's no those are all they're actively attacking them going, hey, get the fuck out of this neighborhood. They're like, we don't want to sell. They're like, find a way, it's weird. So that being said, it's like our area is suburban, but like we're also like 5 minutes away from like automotive, like mechanic shops and stuff like that, like where it's just like it's all industrial, and you're kind of like it's just fucking weird, right? But
there's a mechanic like 3 blocks from me, like because the major street is near us. Is like, okay, you have the bus stop, you got a 7-Eleven, you got all these businesses, and then just there's a mechanic, and then on the next block over is like the Department of Water and Power for some reason. But yeah, there's a mechanic, and like I have been having trouble with the hybrid battery in my car. So there's like the battery for the starter and then the thing for the electric motor. And like that's being a pain in the butt recently. So I went over, I was like, help. And they're like, well, we can send a tow if you want. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I walked back and then tried doing it on a, like, for fun, like, just to see what would happen. And the car started. And I was like, hey, so cancel that for now, but I'll probably be back because I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Well, how much is it going to be to replace?
I don't know. I looking up, it's usually like $500 for parts and labor.
Okay.
So not looking forward to that.
No.
That happens to happen. And then times where it doesn't work, you can just jump it like you normally would with a dead car battery. Just works on the hybrid too.
So the average cost for a Toyota Prius battery replacement is between. Do you want to know this?
Hybrid battery. Because regular battery is more expensive, I think, but the hybrid battery is different. Yeah,
it's worse. A lot worse. It's a lot worse.
How much is it? Tell me.
The Prius battery replacement cost range from $2,000 to $4,500.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's a problem. Because you're not talking about your. What year is your Prius?
2013. Never remember to cut this part when I'm editing because no one wants to hear this.
No, it's fine. Everybody wants to listen. Like, just Google it, guys, because it needs to be replaced every 8 to 10 years. Yeah, so you're right. Okay, so that one, it may be cheaper, maybe only like 1,000 to 1,500, but
only 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah. So listen. So okay, here we go. Now, any weird stuff in your neighborhood? That is a good question.
Besides the Ronald Reagan books.
Let's be honest, which is like a weird.
They're still there, by the way. I filmed that like I think weeks ago, and now I'm like, trash, random guy going by that goes, I love Ronald Reagan. Nope, it's just there. What if they keep getting taken? They keep showing up again.
What if it's what was that thing from Harry Potter, the boot that they all had to touch?
Oh, the port key? You touch the key and then it teleports you somewhere?
Might be a port key.
I mean, I touched it. I didn't go anywhere. But
that's why you don't touch port keys, people. Then you get the realization that you're not magical. You don't want that in your life.
Yeah, and then you end up murdered by Voldemort. What a shame.
I mean, that's basically the story.
Let's see, weird things in our neighborhood. So there's that the ever-present puddle. Definitely part of it. There's this guy like on the south part of my immediate neighborhood with an RV who keeps fighting. They're building an apartment building, and he keeps fighting with the construction guys because they're like, "We need you to move. We're doing like whatever," and he's like, "Fuck off!" And then he never moves. I don't know how he manages to keep fighting them on that, but
I mean, yeah, no one's gonna back them up. And who wants to be the guy who fucking forced a guy who's living in his car, right, to move because whatever, right? We need the space to move our stuff. Fuck you immediately, right? Like, remember, you live in the area of where it's like, oh, you're the underdog, you immediately got all the possible support you possibly can. Because nobody likes somebody who wins constantly, right? Like Gavin Newsom. He's a good-looking lizard man, okay? Does that mean he should be the most powerful person in the state? I don't think so, but he is a good-looking lizard man. So, it's tough. It's a tough call.
I forgot what the comparison was that we made where he looks like, what's his name? Shit. Was it Jim Berger who brought that up? Where he looks like X if Y, but let's see. Yeah. So ever-present puddle, RV guy. There's this woman with a dachshund, and all I want to do is pet the dachshund, but I'm always in my car when I see the dachshund.
Interesting.
It's a weird dog.
Does she live in your building or just in your area?
Just in the neighborhood. Like I'll see them around. She usually gets up and is jogging with the dog when I'm leaving for work.
I don't
And
think
like,
that's right. You shouldn't jog with a dash hound like that.
I don't think so
It
either.
can't jog. It's a hot dog.
I mean, she's short, so I'm guessing little legs, little legs. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But like, imagine how weird it would be if someone was driving by, stopped, gets out, it's like, I want to pet your dog. Your dog's super cute, and it's like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, that would be creepy as hell.
You're gonna get pepper sprayed. That's
Easily.
rape alarm. Yeah, something's definitely gonna happen. You don't want
Definitely.
that.
There's a house a couple blocks from me that kind of looks like a southern plantation home almost, and it's got like a creepy swing in the front on the tree, and I'm just like, I've never seen anyone come out of there, but it's that's got Victorian era ghosts or something.
So that's those kind of houses are always freaky deaky, right? Like there's a few streets in my area that like all of a sudden all of the houses have been sold, and like so it's a main road that goes like quite a distance like through uptown Toronto, and like it was lined with very large homes of immense amount of wealth in that area. And it was all number one, so it was a Jewish neighborhood, but also so it had synagogues and stuff in the area, but also was a very, very, very prestigious university or hospital that is like the trauma center of this side of Canada. Okay, like so, like if something really, really bad happens, you're getting sent there. So if you need to be airlifted for some reason, you're probably going there. Gotcha. Yeah. So like that's in that area, and that area has two rentable spaces that are like old doctors' houses that like just lived in the area. So like they were on the hospital property because they were doctors, right? But now they're venues and stuff. Like they're massive houses. They're beautiful. Okay. So, but all that area is changing, and like they're building condos and stuff, and you're just like, this is not good because you're not making any infrastructure either, right? But like that's the kind of shit that's happening in my area where like you have this weird mix of people who like actively just do enough on their lawn, like they mow their lawn every 6 weeks just so no one can call the city, like
the I'm not touching you to the HOA, right?
Well, there's no homeowners association in the area or anything like that. Good. Like these houses are like this area was built in the 50s. Like the drains, the sewer drains on the street, they have 1958 on them, I think. Wow. Yeah. The weird part is like, so our street, we're on a crescent, and it doesn't have sidewalks. We have no sidewalks. We just have driveways. Right. Yeah. But like at the end of our street, the other side of that street is like 5 buildings that are all like, we're talking about like 10 to 12 floors. Like they're all actually like not high rise, but like they're like taller. They're not low rise. That's for sure. Like they all have elevators and stuff, but there's like 5 or 6 of them, and some of them are like government housing type stuff. So you're just like, fuck. So they'll walk through our street constantly. Right. So randomly you'll hear like weird conversations in the middle of the night, because like in the middle of the night, I'd be outside like rehearsing and like going over bits that I did that night and stuff, like just playing back audio and stuff. So I'm out there in the middle of the night smoking, and people just walking by is like screaming about the weirdest shit you've ever experienced. And I'm just like, all right, weird, really weird shit. But like one girl was screaming how her friend cheated or her friend banged her boyfriend or whatever, and I'm just like, Jesus. So I just watching all this as they walk by, and I'm just like, damn, that shit's crazy. But like, so like you see like, and also, there's a guy who keeps on walking his dog. So he's from those buildings, and he keeps on walking his dog on our street and making sure to shit on people's lawn and then not pick up the shit. And a couple times I've seen him bring his dog onto like, oh, it wants to shit. So like he doesn't bring the dog to shit, but wherever the dog decides to shit, he doesn't pick it up if he's not being watched. Oh. So I was standing in front of our house, like, or at the bay window. So I'm just watching him. And as soon as the dog shits, I'm like, you better fucking, he was like, and picked up the shit. And I'm like, you weren't gonna pick up it because I found dog shit on our fucking
lawn.
On the lawn, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, it really enrages me. But also too, it's like, I like the only reason I don't have a dog is I am unwilling to pick up something else's shit. That's not unless it's my offspring. I'm not. That's not. No. Figure your shit out, right? Like,
damn. I was all ready to make a thing about. Is that also why you don't want to have kids? But
I mean, borderline.
You ruined it for me.
That's what I do. I ruin things. No. So like that's where like Victoria gets mad at me because she's like, I make her clean Apollo's poop. Because I'm like, I told her, she's like, I want to get a cat. I'm like, I don't want to clean up cat poop ever. Like ever in my life. The only reason I don't have a cat is because I don't want to clean up cat poop. And she goes, I'll do it. Don't worry. I'm like, okay, it's not my cat, it's your cat. I'm not doing the things. You're doing the things. She goes, yep, I'm doing the things. Okay, cool. And she has regretted that decision since. So that's basically how that works. So whatever. That's fine. There are cats in our neighborhood that run wild, like people
feral
come out of the
cats,
house. They're not feral, but I think they're outdoor cats.
Okay.
So my cat
outdoor cats are something different.
Oh yeah. So my cat will stand at the window and like just watch them as they'll like sit on our front driveway and like just like groom themselves like right there in front of everybody, which that's number one, aggressive. Number two, why? And my cat is just looking at him. He's like, "Fuck off my lawn!" Like he's already an old person. Like he's just like, "Get the fuck off my lawn, get lost." Like he just immediately looks at them. He doesn't meow or anything. He just looks at them. He's like, "What are you? How dare you?"
There was apparently, if a cat, I think Apollo might want a little friend. Oh God, have that conversation on air. No, apparently the reason like outdoor cats will bring back dead birds, mice, things like that, is in their head you suck at hunting. And they're like, all right, I guess I gotta do it myself. I'm not really sure like how you're surviving, but here you go. Fucking idiot.
Apparently the reason why like they look at you when you come home and don't give them a treat is like, you went out, why didn't you bring back food? Like, are you just you're just a bad cat. You're not good at being a cat, right?
Yeah, you suck at it.
Yeah, you suck at it, which I find hilarious. Yeah. Because our cat will actively like our cat's an asshole, number one. But like Victoria has like an auto feeder for him like 3 times a day, and it just like automatically like comes out. So it's timed. So he'll just wait there like as it's about to happen, and as soon as it does, he goes eat. But like it'll back up because he's not. I'm like, start feeding him less. And then as soon as you start feeding him less, then he starts meowing. He's like, oh, I'm gonna die. I'm like, you're such a fucking asshole. To the point, hey, like let's put it this way. Victoria just bought him chicken noodle soup that she mixes with water for his breakfast. And she's like, oh yeah, he loves it. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Because you're giving him good shit. Like what? Just fucking make him fucking hunt for his food for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Either that or just get him ramen.
I mean, our cat is basically so. Do you remember? Was it Secret Life of Pets? Where they're in a building, and there was the one gray cat, but it was female, and it was just like very like it would just smack people in the face and stuff. That's basically my cat, but a boy.
Okay. Have you seen that video where it's like a guy has an automatic feeder, and then the cat's figured out if you hit it hard enough, it dispenses food. Anyway, so they put a camera on the feeder, and then it's just video of these cats come like blazing in from the other room and just like
bam,
shove it just to get to the food.
I mean, see, that's the thing is like our cat is super, super lazy, but also like when he was a baby, he was a kitten. He went to the front door or to the side door where we come in and out, and he jumped out, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't lose this cat, right?" Yeah. And he was like, looked around, and was like, "Nope." And it's because he's just it's a Russian blue, and they are notoriously indoor cats. They're like, I don't go outside. That's for homeless people. I stay inside, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, all right, whatever, fine. But yeah, so like he's never trying to get out, and even if you bring him close to the door, he starts freaking out because he doesn't want to go outside. And then on top of that, if you're a woman, he'll come say hello. If you're a man, good luck.
Nope.
He just disappears. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even like we have the helpers upstairs that only now have some of them started to like they try and be friendly, and he's like, "Get the fuck away from me!" Like immediately, he's just like, "Nope." Maybe I should put him on the cat. Oh God, so Victoria,
what's a cat sling?
You know exactly what it is. So
Is
it's
it like a
over the shoulder? No, it's over the shoulders, and then the cat is facing.
Oh my
forward.
God! It's like the baby thing.
Yeah,
but for
a cat, he won't even put it on. I'm like, why would you buy this? You know full well that he won't put it on.
I was gonna say to end the episode, what's the weird shit in your neighborhood? Who are the weirdos? And it might be you guys.
As you can see from my collection of Lego right here, it's right there. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff, and then they have shoes, massive amounts of shoes. So
your feet are so big, it's probably like 3 pairs. But
I mean, that is a like touche on that one, but like Victoria has like 9,000 pairs of shoes. So
ditto, Katie. Yeah. I have the 1 pair of shoes that works, slippers, sandals, the end. Like
I have a pair of fancy black shoes, a fancy brown shoe.
All right.
And like that's reasonable. I have a couple of flip flops, which are fine because mine are I like really padded ones because I have really, really soft feet.
Yeah, got the flat feet.
Yeah, well, I do have flat feet now. They're not at. So the weird thing is, as I lose weight, they're getting less and less flat, which I'm like, I don't understand how that works. Yeah,
I could see that being the thing where it's like for every 10 pound you lose, you gain an inch of penis. You get less flat.
35 pounds, you getting an inch of wiener. That is the science, actually.
An inch for 35 pounds.
Yeah, and I've lost 250 pounds.
Oh man, it must be like a.
Yeah. Like, so I explained this on stage where I'm like, I've always walked around with big dick energy, but now I can share it with anyone. It's great. I do not have 9,000 pairs of shoes. Sorry. Victoria cracked 10,000 this year. She says 10,000 pairs of shoes, not 9,000. My bad. Sorry, Victoria. Don't get mad and buy more shoes. That's fine.
Nice to see that we'll get to see like a marital argument happen in person.
At some point. Yeah. Like when Victoria's going to come home with just a new cat, and I'm like, why? And she's like, I brought it. You're on the air. So welcome. Here's your kitten. I'm like,
now you have a cat. And unfortunately, we'll never be able to get a cat because Katie's allergic. But what are you going to
do? When was the last time she was tested?
Almost every time we go to her parents' house, who have a cat, and she gets,
Has she tried taking a pill?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Why?
Is she allergic to dogs?
No. We would both like to have a dog, but I want to wait until we have a yard because we're both teachers, and it's not fair for the dog to be stuck inside all day. And you know what I mean? But like,
yeah, that's nice of you. A little selfish, but I get it. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, it's not just for me. Like, what's the dog gonna do? Just sit in a crate all day? Like, it's gotta be awful.
I don't know. I find animals that are loud annoying. So
I
have a cousin who loves birds. He has a minor bird that will like repeat shit. Like it's weird because he'll repeat car alarms that go off in their area.
Wow.
So he's
the weird guy.
Oh, my cousin is definitely the weird guy in Athens. In all of Athens, possibly of Greece, he's definitely the weird guy. So his bird would mimic car alarms.
That's so crazy.
So people would come out and be like, "Why my car's not alarming?" And it's just the fucking bird. Like it's just man.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Maybe you should get a bird. Who knows? That'll ruin everything.
I could see myself being a bird guy. I'm not sure though.
I feel like you could get a bird, but it'd be like one of those like ancient birds with the giant like the huge beak. I forget what kind of bird it is. It's just a terrifying bird. And like eyeballs you.
An albatross, maybe?
No. I'll find it. Give me a second here.
Yeah. Lordy. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what listeners think of their neighborhood and like, do you know your neighbors? What sort of shenanigans happen around you? because I'm hoping that people take the time to get to know their neighbors, because sometimes it's a cat that owns a human, and his name is Charles.
It's 100% accurate. Charles the cat. Like I feel. Did you say goodbye to Charles the cat when you moved?
I wanted to, but I didn't get to.
I feel like what you should do is make a card and address it to Charles the cat, and then put it at their door
In the mailbox. Yeah, because I remember which apartment it is. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that will ruin that person so much. Which, hey, you know what, everyone? Like, there's that is a new trend where people know pets don't know the owners, won't even interact with the owners. Which I'm like, number one,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
I've unfortunately, like, with my students, especially in the first couple of weeks of school, I'm able to remember them if they have a distinctive, like, visual feature about
100%.
them. Like, I'll remember, like, there's one girl who has, like, not bleach, but where you put it in acid and then it turns it blonde.
Platinum blonde, like that kind of.
Well, no, but like that's not her natural hair color. But
yeah.
She does that, and it's like, it's a 99% Latino school, so it's very striking. So like I remembered their name almost instantaneously. I'm like, it's not hard to miss.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Or if like they're if they say something funny or do something funny, like one of Katie's kids this year. I'm not going to say the kid's name, obviously, but the one day he bites somebody, and Katie's like, "No, we don't bite." And then he goes, "Miss Katie, you don't get the cash prize." And like that immediately stuck it to her brain. And after school, Katie, like,
that is
wow, hell of a comeback for a 3-year-old, definitely. And like she goes to the kid's mom and goes, "Okay, so where did cash prize come from?"
Yeah.
And the mom goes, "Oh yeah, sometimes I'll have to go into work on a weekend and we'll leave him with his grandma, and his grandma likes game shows. So he probably picked that up from like Steve Harvey or something."
Like that's 100% what happened, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So now that's the new. If like you're on the wrong track, you don't get the cash prize.
You don't get the cash prize. I mean, that happens. Oh,
but like that's what stuck the kid's name to Katie is like.
She got fucking roasted, bro. Yeah. Like, are you kidding? A 3-year-old tells you don't get the cash prize? You'd be like, the fuck did I do to you little shit? Like,
you don't even know how to read yet, and you like took me to school, Jesus.
Like aggressively, like not even like, that was funny, kid. No, like that kid is going.
Well done.
Probably not good places, but he's going.
I'm curious to see what happens when I give my kids the roast me assignment later this year, because we'll see. Should be fun.
I really, really, really don't think that's a good idea. Just FYI.
Happened last year. It was a good time.
That's fine. I'm just telling you, is we don't choose when we shine, Atlas. We don't choose where success, like we can't bottle lightning. People try, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And one of your kids, that may be their lightning, man.
The thing where they told me, or which kid was it that said I look like I eat coleslaw and like it? So good.
Like that's a little savage, bro. Like I'm just letting you know, like.
And the worst part was it was a kid who like doesn't hate me or anything. She's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "That's the funniest shit I've heard ever. Take that with you, please." Like
that's the problem is like some of the best burns are ones that you either get landed on you or you hear and you're like, "Oh, I identify with that one." Like the best I heard, it was an Australian comic that would say, she's like, "I look like someone who's had more meals than shits," and I'm like, that's top tier. I'm like, I definitely look like somebody who's had more meals than shits. And I changed it around, and I'm like, I am trying to retire as a fatso. To do this, I am shitting more than I eat. It is catching up to me because for a long time I used to eat more meals than shits, for sure. Let's be honest. That's just factual. I was trying to double up, but no, it's not. It's not how the science don't work that way.
I'm trying to find. There was one in our group chat where like it was somebody at Kyle or it was Cole or you or somebody.
Well, we roasted each other a little while ago, and that was aggressive. Just so everyone knows, it was aggressively mean, and no one came away unscathed. Like everyone.
Yeah. Always fun. I've been thinking of like starting a Generation Dan Discord for.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe start a community. I'm not really sure. If people are interested, let us know.
I have a Discord, but I do not know how to do anything with it. So,
anyway. All right. Well,
anyways.
Yeah. Who are the people in your neighborhood, and who's the weird guy? Is it you?
Yeah.
Leave a comment below. All that.
If you are the weird person, let's be honest. What is it that makes you weird, or why are you so determined to be the weirdo? That's a good question.
Why are you walking around with your cat in a sling in the front yard? Who is Dan? Dan is an acronym, and it's
sending old McDonald back to
the farm. Like we had a third co-host originally, so it was Dino, Atlas, and then his name was Nick. So that was Dan. That's where that comes from. It's not like anybody named Dan.
Let's be honest. I'll do you one better. Why is Dan?
Why is Dan?
Is Dan?
Yeah, follow us at Generation Dan. All that good stuff. If you're hearing this episode on the Friday when it comes out, we had a new episode of Last Minute History on the Generation Dan YouTube channel. Me and Cole Clayton talking about the New York campaign of the Revolutionary War, Washington getting his ass kicked. Go check it out. And then you can follow me at Atlas Novak and all those other places. Or my other podcast, Nexus at Night, which is about Vanguard, the trading card game. And if you don't like it, fuck you. How about you, Burps McGee?
I thought you were done, and I was going to try and phase that right into, and then you kept on talking, and I was like, I timed it bad. No,
yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know I don't time the burps. The burps just come. If I look like I'm holding a breath, it's because I am holding my breath. Because next one I breathe is going to be a burp. So just to be very clear.
Well, because what's funny is
like 6 seconds where it's just like it's going to happen.
Yeah, for people watching the stream where it always starts with a burp before the music comes in, he'll like not start the stream until he can feel the burp coming on. So it'll be like 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, here it goes. Click. Yeah. And then
and I do that for you guys. I'm that kind of thoughtful. Anyways, you can find me at Dino the Genetic Marvel. It's very exciting. If you can't Google me, we're not gonna be friends. So that's fair.
All right.
I'm gonna be over watching his card game, making fun of it. I'm gonna just leave comments that are horrible. You look like you're holding more. I trust me, I am. Yeah. You too, Jim. Always a pleasure. Trust me, I'm definitely backed up. I have more gas, and that comes out in nighttime parts. Very exciting.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye.